What's going on, everybody? Thanks so much for coming tonight. I am super excited to have you here. You know, it has been a really amazing process getting from the launch of this channel about 1.5 years ago to tonight. And this is the celebration. And to celebrate, I've got some guests who I'm going to introduce you to in just a second to kind of share the story of how we got from there to here. Also, I've got that big announcement, that big unveiling that I'm going to share with you here in just a few minutes. And then we've got a quiz. See how much all of you know or remember about the channel. I've got 10, I think, fairly difficult questions, and I wanted to see how many you all and my guests know the answer to. So check this out. This is going to be a fun night.
All right, so first off, we've got Sammy Thunder will be joining us here momentarily. Sammy, the first channel I ever was on, and then the first time I was ever interviewed was from my friend Theo of Clemente Collector. He'll be here as well. Who did I do Hobby Palooza with last year? None other than Orlando, Uncle Orlando, one of the greatest guys in this community. And then we got Darren from Return to Collecting. Darren, such a great friend. I've been doing lots of collaborations with him. And then we've also got another guest who's part of my unveiling, Mr. Scott from Reindeer Studios. Scott is an insanely talented artist. And then backstage, we got Mookie. He's going to be running the chat and sharing what's happening. So let's go ahead and start now. What's up, everybody? I am so excited. This has been quite the journey, and I hope that 2 minutes or so right there kind of led things off nicely. I had the video this morning as well. I hope that you checked that out. So many channels, so many friends along the way. You know, to think that literally 1.5 years ago, I didn't know anybody in the YouTube community. I watched about 3 channels at the time. I think the first channel I actually watched was Jab's Family at a national. And one of the channels that I started watching early on, like I was a viewer of the channel, one of the first 2 or 3 literally, later asked me to come on his channel and participate in a live stream. And I remember when he did it, he said, "Hey, do you know how to use StreamYard?" I said, "Never heard of it." And not long later, my guy Sammy Thunder had me on. Oh, he's got his Tom Seaver picture out already.
Seaver face.
And and Sammy invited me on. Now, Sammy, it was about December of 2022 when you did a VR, because you were hitting the 1,000 subscriber mark, and you did a VR for people to show off their autograph collection or an autograph, a famous autograph. And I submitted one, and I was like, oh man, mine's the best one. I know he's going to pick me. And you were giving away some stuff. And then it ended up being a raffle, but I didn't win the raffle, of course, because I don't win anything like that. And then you had me on your channel. You reached out to me and you gave me a chance, and I appreciate it, my friend.
Happy to do it, man. Congratulations.
Thank you. And I had to have you as the first person on tonight because it goes directly in line with, you having me on. And I think that you helped put me on the map. I was a little nervous that night. We were doing a quiz, and you did it a few times where you did your sports card trivia, and I participated with, there were 3 teams, and that was a lot of fun. So my guy, Sammy, now, not long later, we had another channel reached out to me, had never heard of the guy before. And he says, "Hey, will you be on my channel? I like to interview newer YouTube channels." And I said, well, of course. I don't know. I mean, we didn't talk beforehand. We literally said hello right before we started recording.
Yeah.
and my guy Theo. And I would say we've been friends ever since. Is that fair to say, Theo?
Yeah, I would definitely say that we've been close friends ever since. Pleasant surprise, Sometimes when I do the interviews, we don't talk much after, but me and you have been connected at the hip since. So
yeah. Theo's a great guy. Theo, great channel, Clemente Collector. He recently just hit the 1,000 subscriber mark, which is awesome, and congratulations on that. He's obviously a part of the For Collectors group, as is Sammy. So these two being the first two on tonight also kind of fall perfectly in line. Obviously, Sammy Thunder. Now, the next person I wanted to bring on is my buddy Orlando. Now, Orlando, I joke with him. I say, you're like everybody's favorite uncle whenever you go to a family reunion or a family get together. And my goal is always to actually be that uncle. But Orlando's the uncle where like everybody likes Orlando. Like, how could you not love Orlando? He's such a sweet guy. And spending time with you in Strongsville, all three of you guys, but in Strongsville, that was really fun. I really enjoyed that, Orlando.
Yeah, it was incredible. It was really the best time ever, even better than the previous nationals, any other time I've been to, because it was just a very intimate time, for all of us to get to know each other, and it was just a great time. And congratulations on your 5,000 subscribers. Your channel, really, I've been watching it from the beginning. It's just incredible because to me, it's like the hub, the place where everybody can get together. That and For Collectors, right, Theo, Sammy? Those, I think, are the two channels that, I don't know, we gravitate to for some reason. And I think a lot of it is because of you. You're a teacher. And, the way that you explain things, the way that you talk to people, it's just common sense stuff. And you explain things like for people that are not very familiar with certain things. And, just thank you so much. And that's what makes you so successful. And then on top of that, you're an incredible guy, an awesome guy. So it's like,
see, now I told you guys that Orlando's like the greatest guy and everybody loves him, right? This is exactly what I'm talking about.
You didn't let me talk, so I couldn't say nothing.
Oh, we got a long night ahead of us. We're only 7 minutes in. 75 of us are in here at the moment. I honestly, that turnout is really, really means a lot to me. The fact that you guys showed up tonight, it means more than everybody knows. We've got more people. I do want to give a quick shout out, though. I did in the intro, but as you see all of the comments popping on, that Mookie Chilson comment that popped on, that was Mookie choosing his own comment back there, just so everybody knows. The guy backstage who's highlighting comments is my guy Mookie. So just know that. So thank you, Mookie. Next up, the guy that I've started doing a fair amount of collaborations with, I feel like we kind of just click well and has become a good friend of mine. We also got to hang out at the Strongsville show. And that's something I didn't even realize, but until just the second, is all of us that are coming on tonight, we're all at Strongsville together. I didn't realize that. And I had a great time hanging out with this guy. And then I just was in Colorado for Lucy's soccer tournament. And I got to hang out even more with this guy, Darren, from Return to Collecting.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on, Greg. Congratulations on 5,000. That's awesome.
Oh, well, you're sweet. And what's going on in the background? I don't see your cases of Nolan Ryan gems looking at us.
It's my first live stream from a hotel.
Now, when I was there, it seemed like, the relationship was going well. Did you already get kicked out?
All good.
So you're
watching my cousin Vinny in the other room.
All right. So Darren and I, again, we've got our little once or twice a month thing that we call, well, off topic. In fact, I saw Adam Splendid Sports was in here a second ago. He's the one that came up with that name, and I think it kind of does well. Darren is closing in on 1,000. If you've not yet subscribed to Darren's channel, do that. Help him get to 1,000. He's got to catch Theo here pretty quick. Yeah. All right, so my last introduction, and then we're going to get into some more of the festivities. Somebody did say Strongsville. I got Chris from Missouri in here. Chris obviously put together that event that night. Another one of the greatest guys in the community is Chris. So the next person that we're going to have on, who I mentioned in the intro, is none other than our resident artist. Yeah, we do have Orlando. Orlando's got the polar bear shirt from
Very
Scott's
nice.
website, yes. And then Mookie backstage has a Ranger Studio shirt on.
Right.
And so I got to meet you in Strongsville for the first time. And before that, I didn't feel like, Scott, we had a ton of time that we talked or hung out or anything. But then when we were in Strongsville, we ended up kind of talking quite a bit.
Absolutely. And look at all these superstars except for Theo over there.
Are we starting now?
Oh.
Well, the ribbing is, as I'm assuming, it's already begun, yes. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen for a second, because part of the reason that Scott is on is because he had a big part to do with my announcement. So I'm going to go ahead now, huge part of it. And I'm going to go ahead now and share the screen. And what you guys see here is, well, we decided to go ahead and do a second MidLife logo. So, I've had my logo, which you can see up there for a while. And I like it. It's classic. It's sort of like, the NY on the Yankee hat. It's like you can't just redo it. But I thought it'd be fun to do a second thing. And with Scott's talents, I wanted to see what he could do and make a second logo. And I think he did a really good job. So for the first time, let's go ahead and take a look at the second MidLife Sports Cards logo. And there it is. I mean, I gotta be honest.
It's you.
It does look like me. It looks like me. What do you think, Darren? What do you think?
I think it's great.
Right through there?
Very good likeness.
That's me, dude.
That's you.
What do you think, Theo?
I think it makes you look better, to be honest.
I can't disagree. So we've got this. Now, we're not done. We've got more. So Scott, I think you did a fantastic job. I think you absolutely nailed my eyes. I love the not Craig up here. That was all Scott. Or it says not Craig, because that's the common mistake. I think it's fantastic.
I did that for me, so I wouldn't call you Craig.
I know. Well, I wish we should get one of these for my principal, because I've worked for her for 20 years and she still calls me Craig. All right. So now we've got also the logo with just the caricature. So we got this here. So that is fantastic. And then, so I'm going to be using these. Now, my old logo is not going away altogether. It's going to be still utilized, but then I'm going to also mix these in because I think that they're super fun. And I'm super appreciative of Scott for creating this. And then we've got the updated kind of three-dimensional MidLife Sports Cards logo. And it's Chris, Mookie, the fact that I know that you're just being nice and not covering up the logo, but we got to show Chris's comment. Not bad for what he had to work with. So, Chris, thank you, Chris. Such a sweetie. So now, in addition to this, there's more to this. There's more than just the logo as part of the announcement. Hold on one sec. My screen just is whack.
But wait, there's more.
So I also have. There's merch for sale now on the Ranger Studio Etsy website. So if you are if you're interested, these are live right now. And I can tell you that I know that my shopping for Christmas is basically over. I'm just going to buy about 20 of these and hand these out to everybody. So hoodies are available on the Reindeer Studios website, Etsy website. We're going to go take a look at that in a second.
Okay.
And there are also T-shirts. So we have a variety of T-shirts. What's Mookie doing? Operator just standing by. Gosh, I love Mookie.
Oh, gosh.
And so I want to show you guys, if you're interested in supporting Scott and his Etsy website. So if you go on to his Etsy page, this is the homepage. If you go into Etsy and just type in Reindeer Studios. Now, if you look on the left right here, he's got sports card YouTubers. No, Andrew, that's not what you're here for. And if you go in here, they're live right now. They're live, as is the Reindeer Studio one. Now, I'm trying to get Scott to also put some on for Chris from Missouri, because I would like to buy a Chris from Missouri shirt. Chris wears his and then acts like the rest of us can't have one. He just like taunts us with it. So this is something I'll mention. I'll always have a link in my videos. This is not something, and not to get into details, but this is something to support Scott and his art business. This is something that we did in collaboration, but the proceeds from this are all about Reindeer Studios. They're not about Greg. So support him. He recently went full-time with art, and I think that it is amazing because he's an amazing artist. And I'm super stoked to have a small part in, helping maybe drive some traffic there. But go help him out. And honestly, Scott, the fact that you did this so quickly is absolutely amazing. So for the 15 next achievements, you get a free $88 back. I mean, you could pull like Ricky Jordan or something. I don't know. That would be the 89.
Pull a Glavin.
All right. So now we're going to get into the quiz.
Mark Grace.
Mark Grace. There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that, guys. As you guys are hopping in. Yes, there you go. So the midlife quiz. So the point of this, we've got 10 questions. And again, we're going to get through the quiz, and then we're just going to be hanging out after that. And you guys can all roast me like I'm, a really, really bad-looking Tom Brady. But the quiz is 10 questions to see what everybody knows about the channel. Okay? See what you guys remember. Just kind of how close were we paying attention? Now, Andrew, he's been vocal over there, Andrew, in the chat, and he's been around the channel for a long time. So I'm expecting good things from Andrew on some of these questions. Now, the first question has to do with my first guest, Sammy Thunder. So Sammy, I'm not sure if you know. I think he might not know the answer to this. So, first question: Sammy Thunder had me on his channel for a sports card trivia night. First, as I mentioned, first time I ever did a collaboration. There were 3 teams. What place did I finish? So,
I know
if you think
now.
you know in the chat, you know the answer now, Sammy. You said.
I think I do. But,
okay, if you think you know it, put it in the chat. Put it in the chat if you think you know it. I got James has a lot of faith in me. Thank you, and saying I got last. That's fine. First, Ray, I appreciate the faith in me. I didn't study. Second, now do we give the prize to the first person? We have a first, a second, and a third guess. Sammy, what do you think the answer is?
I hate to not have faith, but I think you came in. I hate to say it, but I think you came in third because I think the COG boys just squeaked by.
Yeah, I got second, and I will say that the COG guys, there was 2 of them, and there was 2 on the other team, and then it was just me solo, and I did get second. So I was actually awesome. Thank you. If you're serious, I appreciate that purchase.
My memory is not. The memory is not the strength here.
The good looks are the strength.
I'm very far away.
They're
the reason
like
why
that.
I'm standing all the way back here.
All right. Second question is for Theo. So Theo, I know you're going to know the answer to this. I know because you gave me a ton of crap about it. So when I was on with Theo did some rapid fire questions at the end. He had like 10 quick rapid fire questions. And I had like a minute. He had like a little, not Monopoly, but some sort of game where you flipped over the timer and the sand is going through. And he asked me a question, which was, what superhero did I claim was the most overrated? Okay. Now, if you think you know what I put, oh, look at this. And people are already putting answers. And you got Batman. The first three people, I got a Superman. Crap, I forgot. All right. Do you remember the answer to this, Theo?
Yeah. And by the way, can I get a new picture? I'll send you something like a tie or something, like something nice.
That's from your channel, dude. Wear a tie on your channel and I'll put that on.
Well, I wore like a hoodie for you today, okay?
That's sweet.
I'm almost positive it was Batman because Batman's my favorite superhero, and I think I was offended by that.
Yeah. Yeah, the correct answer is Batman. Now, just for my defense, it's not that I think Batman is bad. I just think Batman is overrated. So I think Batman's cool, but I don't think he's as cool as everybody else acts like he is. So who was the person that got that one? It was the first one was. Oh, I missed it. Ken. Ken got it first. All right. Next question is to Orlando. Now, I kind of gave this question away earlier. If you watched my video this morning, you probably know the answer to this one now. So Orlando and I were on Hobbypalooza together, and we were joined by Ryan Nolan of Breakout Cards. Super great guy. And Ryan was supposed to be home and do the Hobbypalooza stream from home with us, but his plane got canceled. His flight got canceled, and he got stranded at a card show. Do you remember what card show? Don't say it yet, Orlando, but do you remember what card show he got stranded at? Do you think you know the answer, Orlando?
Yes, I do know the answer.
Okay. So let's see if anybody in the audience. Now we've got the National, we've got Chantilly from the cards.
Yeah, Chantilly.
Yeah, see, that one was kind of a giveaway because in this morning's video I had mentioned that. So if you're kind of like last minute cramming for the test, you would have gotten that one. But it is correct. It was Chantilly. I'm actually fairly impressed so far, but we haven't gotten to the hard question. Next question goes to my guy, Darren. Uh-oh. Now, this might be a hard question. But I know Darren knows the answer. So don't say it yet, Darren. So Darren is a very, very generous gift giver. And I recently sent him a gift. It was a signed photograph that I sent to Darren from my own personal collection. Which Red Sox legend is featured on the autograph? Now, I think this is a tougher question. We already got a Johnny Pesky guess. Okay.
How did Darren get this great photo? Darren got a great photo. He looks like he's in the JCPenney's catalog or something.
You want to know? You want to know where that photo came from?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, people are guessing. I just want to point out that the biggest controversy so far has been Theo's photo. But
what happened to Darren's shoulder?
Well, I'm going to tell. He's turned like this, and what the story behind that is Darren and I flew out the same morning from Strongsville, and we were at the airport together. We ran into each other at the airport terminal before my flight took off, and I said, "Hey, before you leave, let's take a quick photo." So that was directly from a camera instead of like a screen grab.
I'm surprised.
It looked like it's 5 o'clock in the morning.
I'm also surprised, Greg, that you didn't like do a screenshot from Orlando's video at the end of one of his first videos where Darren does that thumbs up.
So
right at the end of the Strongsville video.
The correct answer was Pumpsy Green. the first African American to play for the Red Sox. Pumpsy was a personal friend of a family friend, and signed that photograph for me many years ago. And Darren
really
has recently. Go ahead.
I was saying I really appreciate it. Thank you for that. That was awesome, and it's hanging up. Well, you saw it's hanging up in my office as I'm redoing it. Taking cards off the wall, putting enough room for autograph pictures from Greg.
All right, next one for Scott. Scott sells some awesome T-shirts on his Reindeer Studios Etsy store. Now, I personally have bought 2 shirts off of Scott's website, off of his Etsy store website. My question for all of you, and I'll see if Scott knows the answer. I don't know if Scott knows the answer. Is what are the two shirts that I bought off of Scott's Reindeer Studio Etsy store? Okay, and I'll give you guys a second to try to see if you know this one. I think this is a hard one. I talked about it, I think, once. So, oh my gosh, how is he cheating? Does he know the answers? How does he know this? You've gotten 3 of the 4 answers.
Matt watches a lot of YouTube.
Mookie, did you share the answers with him? Mookie, shake your head, yes or no. Did you share the answers with him? I'm looking at you. No, he's saying no. My goodness, that's unbelievable. You're right. It was the Piedmont. Now, Orlando, show us the Piedmont or the polar bear shirt again. Nice. So that was one of them. And then I also bought the Piedmont. So again, check out Scott's stuff.
I think Matt was binge watching all your YouTube videos.
Well, I appreciate it for sure.
Even I had to look up my sales history on that one.
Yeah, look at the invoice.
All right, next question. All right, I talked about this not that long ago. In 1989, I attended a card show, and I learned about the Upper Deck Dale Murphy card. I bought it one day later at a card shop. How much did I pay for the Dale Murphy reverse negative card? And how much did I sell it for? If Matt gets this one, my head will genuinely explode on live television.
I think he has the
really cheap, really high. That
I think I remember.
I don't think we're allowed to answer yet, but I think Matt has the MidLife home game.
I'm telling you, he binge watched the channel last night.
Right now, I have not seen the right answer yet. I'll say that. As answers are rolling in, there's one that's kind of close, but I haven't seen the right answer. So go ahead.
Can I guess if the chat doesn't get?
Go right now. Go for it, Theo.
Yeah, I think you paid $5 for it, and I think you sold it for $100.
No, I think he paid 25 cents, and I think he sold it for $50.
Oh, so Theo was half right and Orlando was half right. I bought it for 50. Both wrong. Darren is 0 for 2. Theo was 1 for 2, and Orlando was 1 for 2. I bought it for 25 cents, and I sold it for $100. Yeah.
Nice.
All right, next question. We're getting close to the end, and then you guys can start ripping on me. I was able to buy my dream card as a kid. I told this story on Theo's channel, so Theo should know the answer to this. So, Theo.
Yeah.
I was able to buy my dream card as a kid, which was the 84 Fleer update Roger Clemens. How was I able to afford the $80 price tag? Oh, my gosh. I'm not even done reading the question, and he's got it again. This guy is an absolute savant. Chris from Missouri. Oh, Chris, that's dirty. Chris from Missouri is the one that mowed lawns for his cards.
Right.
Chris, you traded him for steroids. That is so dirty, dude. The correct answer is at a card show. They had a door prize. You got a raffle ticket. I won the raffle prize. I got $100 in script for the card show that I had to use in the card show, and I bought it. My goodness. Oh, boy. Okay, 3 more. Oh, I didn't grab it. This was my boo-boo. So this photo right here was a Polaroid photo of me. And you know, Polaroid photos have that little white tab at the bottom. This Polaroid was taken. I'm sorry. I'm about to give it away. This Polaroid was signed by Greg Nettles to me, for me. How did I acquire that autograph? I've told this story, I think, twice. So this is the photo. And down below, right down here on the little Polaroid tab thing, it's signed to Greg, best wishes, Greg Nettles. Spring training is a good guess, but my goodness, I think Chris from Missouri got it. Mm-hmm. Now, is that a joke, Chris, or were you saying your mom, or did you really remember that it was my mom? Your mom got it. Yes, she actually did. So my parents went to a Yankee A's game. My mom, who I think at the time was about 30, takes the photo down to the edge of the dugout, leans over the railing, and says, "Hey, I need to talk to Greg Nettles." So the bat boy gets him, says, "There's a lady that wants to talk to you." He came over and she said, "Will you sign my son's photo? He's named Greg, just like you." And he signed it and handed it back to her. So that's probably not what Greg was hoping she was going to ask. Congratulations, Chris. All right, 2 more. This I think is a tough one. My most watched video is the estate find that my dad bought a shoebox full of cards at an estate sale. What brand of shoes was the shoebox? And Theo's got his hand up already. So let's give the chat about 30 seconds. You think you got it, Theo?
It's what Matt just said.
Did Matt win again?
Okay, so we've got a guess from...
That's what I thought.
That's what, yeah, I was going to say Reeboks.
So far, I've not seen the... I have not seen the right answer so far. I have not. I thought it would be hard, but I thought that people would get it because
I kind of figured it'd be.
You thought it would. Well, think of it this way.
No,
it's an old guy.
Yeah, that's what I was going to go towards. Is that I figured it'd be like an old brand. Is it PF Wires?
Dexter.
I don't know if they have that. They're not Bruno Molly's. It's not Bruno Molly's.
Is it Bostonian?
We got one that's close. Yes,
Bostonian.
Sammy got the Bostonian.
Nice.
That is fantastic.
Oh wow!
All right,
those
last
nice
question.
Shoes back then.
Yeah.
That's PF
All right.
Wires. That's right.
All right. Since I've been 10 years old, there have been 3 vintage baseball cards that I've always wanted. And it's not one from the 48 or 49 Leaf set. They're from some other sets. What are the 3 cards that have always been the 3 I've wanted and I've never bought any of them? So let's give the chat a second to see if they can get it. Anybody by a show of hands in here think they know the 3? Anybody?
I think I know 2 of them.
I think I know 2. But yeah.
Okay. So that's 1. See, Chris, the question was 3 cards, and you gave 1, Chris. So we got definitely. Oh, we got. So Brent's got 2 of the 3. I've not seen the 3rd. This is interesting. I thought that you guys would better Clemente than Theo. That's a good guess. Oh, Ken.
Rub it
My
in.
guy Ken. Oh, Mookie and I are battling right there. There you go. It's the 48 Bowman Berra, the 54 Topps Banks, and the 57 Topps Brooks Robinson.
Oh, the Brooks.
Those are the 3 cards. Yeah.
I love that Brooks Robinson. That's my favorite Brooks Robinson card.
I got one for you.
He looks
I got
like
a Brookie for you.
Okay, you gonna send it to me as a reward?
I could if you want.
There it is.
Oh, look at that! Beautiful.
Go,
Tell me that's not an awesome card, right? And then he goes
awesome.
straight into the 58.
So I heard a story about the 58 is that he was doing like running drills and then he took the photo right after.
Yeah, I was on your stream the other night, and somebody was reminding of that story when you did your chillin' chat, and we were talking about some of the ugly cards from the For Collectors stream the other day.
Yep.
So, what do you think, Darren? Honestly, out of the 10 questions, how many of those did you know?
Less than Matt.
Wow. Bad friend.
How about you, Theo? How many do you know?
I knew them all, Greg.
I forgot Brooks Robinson on the last one.
Are you guys still traumatized by the comedy? What comedy? Oh, the comedy of the picks for the bad cards? Sorry, Mookie. I'm trying to take over, and I'm just going to let you do your job. You go, Mook. That's my bad.
You give him one
Why
job.
am I waiting on the grails?
Let me take over.
I know. See, when you're a teacher, you're a complete control freak because you don't want to turn over control to anybody else because you just assume it'll go wrong. But I've only got 5 days of school left, so I'm in a good place at the moment. So, so what do you think, Orlando? How do you think of this this quiz? Did you know many of those answers?
I think I got about half of them, and I didn't get all three, but I thought I knew the first two, the Bera and the Banks. I knew those, and pretty much the other ones, I kind of had I'd say about half of those I knew.
Mm-hmm. Now, Orlando, I'm going to mute you for a second, Scott, just because there's some noise going on. Orlando, Orlando's soft-spoken. Orlando, to anybody who didn't go to Strongsville this year, give the sales pitch to why hanging out with us 5 guys at Strongsville was worth it. Because you made a long trip like I did. It's a long flight down there from Florida.
It was a long flight from South Florida, and but it was well worth it. Just we know each other kind of. We think we know each other, but when we meet in person, it's like family. It feels like we've known each other for a long time. It's not like we just met. You know what I mean? And it's just a great feeling to just meet so many people that you really would like to spend time with. You want to, talk to them through the camera, and that's why I do a lot of live streams just to talk to you guys, because I don't even show my face on my videos, and just to meet with you guys and to be there and hang out and, go have lunch at Chick-fil-A and just be a bunch of guys. It was like a frat, a fraternity, and it was just, it's real hard to explain, but the bottom line is that, we're all from different, times, different places, different ethnicities, different people, different looks. I mean, I was hanging out with Hitman and, I showed my sister the picture. She says, he looks like a biker, but, we all look different and are different and have different backgrounds. But when we're together talking cards, it's all like we're the same. You know what I mean? We're just like all talking about the same thing, and we all get along, and we just, like a family. It's even better than the family, because the family sometimes you argue, especially talking politics. There, we're in our world. We're in the world of our cards, and we're all the same. From the policeman to the teacher to the construction worker to whatever you do, when you're there together, we're equal, and we're all enjoying the hobby. We're sharing it with each other, and we're all just, best of buddies. To me, I don't have any brothers. I have 2 sisters. So to me, it's like being with a band of brothers. That's what I felt like there. And there's no, just
I think
great
that
feeling.
you said it really, really well. And I remember the first day the show had only been open for a short period of time, and Theo came over and he was like, "Hey, we're gonna go grab something to eat. I think we're all gonna go to a restaurant." And I was like, "Really? Like we're gonna go eat right now?" And he was like, "Yeah, we're all gonna go grab lunch." And the way my dad and I operate when we're at a show is we just kind of put our head down and we just do the show until we're ready to leave, and then we eat. And I was kind of like, "Oh, okay." Do you remember that, Theo?
Yeah.
And that's when we went to the place where Mike Petty paid for our table, but not the other table, which was thank you, Mike.
2 times. He did that twice.
Yeah, he paid for dinner at the same restaurant the night before.
and Mike's a great guy. He couldn't be here tonight. He has something going on, but he did text me. But the thing that I loved and some of you saw this, and at one point I was talking to somebody and I looked over at Sammy, and Sammy was kind of looking at me at the corner of his eye, and he kind of gave me this look like, "You're an interesting guy, Greg," because I was asking a lot of questions about. I'm curious about you guys as people, not just what you collect. Like Orlando, you and I sat almost right in the middle of the show, and you're telling me all about your daughter and your son, and their families, and about just your mother and different things. And it was just like so cool that I'm getting to know you. And then I'm sitting across from Darren at dinner one night, and he's telling me about how he met his wife. And then Chris from Missouri is telling me about some things that happened, with his children when they were younger. And it was like, I really liked getting to see you guys and talk to you guys as just people and not just cards. The cards is what brings us together, but the conversation about that kind of stuff, like that was really, really cool. I mean, like Darren, when we had lunch together, when our wives and us had lunch together when I was in Colorado, I mean, how cool was that, right?
It was fun. It was actually awesome because we sat under the table, the 4 of us, and we started talking like normal 4 people. And then Greg asked me a question about if I watched a video, and both his wife and my wife at the exact same time were like, "Oh, here we go." I'm like, yeah, I saw that. So then they got to talk for a while because Greg and I talked YouTube for the rest of the lunch.
Yeah, it was funny because they kind of just turned on their side of the table. They just turned and they had their like little girl talk, and then we just talked about stuff. No problem, Sammy. I totally agree. And that was pretty cool. Now, Theo, one of the things that I was surprised by when I saw you in person, I was surprised by a couple of things when I saw everybody in person. Number one, Orlando was taller than I thought he would be. I was like, for whatever reason in my head, I was like, oh, Orlando's going to be like, I don't know, 5'6".
I'm not like
He'll be like a little guy.
Yeah. I could see that.
But and then Theo comes in, and I'm like, dude, Theo's like a strapping boy, dude. Like Theo's like solid. Look at this guy. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, I had the same reaction too. I thought I was like, dang, dude's big.
Yeah. I
gotta tell you, one of the best times is Sammy. What do you think of Sammy? Sammy came out with his impression of Mangini. Sammy was like the life of the party.
I don't know about that.
Come on, what would Mangini say?
Hey, listen, I got this sport jacket that has a lot of good cards that came out of Kurt's Card Care. I can't show them on camera because otherwise I'll get in big trouble. I don't want people to know that I use Kurt's Card Care to clean up some cards, you know? So, that being said, voila, look what I got.
See, and one of the things that one of my favorite like hours of the trip is when it was the last night we were down in the bar, and Darren and I were sitting at like a high top, and then Sammy and Scott came over, and the 4 of us were just kind of sitting there, and the other guys were and we were just kind of like shooting the breeze like friends who we'd known each other for a long, long time. And I mean, what do you, Sammy and Scott, from your perspective, like, how is that dynamic? Like, we've seen each other on channels, but like we've never seen each other in person. Is it awkward to you guys when you see someone in person, or is it just like, boom, I know this guy, we're just picking up where we left off?
It's not awkward anymore.
Yeah.
Like Sammy and I will see each other once a year, and it's, hey Sammy, what's going on? And
No, I just remember
just meeting new people is the same way.
I just remember when like this. I know you did the announcement with the new logo and the T-shirts, and I just remember you came up with the idea, and it was a great idea. I love the idea, and you know, like you pitched to Scott, and I remember just jokingly going to Scott like, hey, "This is pretty big, bud. What do you think, man?" And just like patting him on the shoulder, and because I mean, it was, you know, we were all just kind of having good laughs, and you know, I just instigated, you know, just being a little bit of an instigator, but. You know, I know we were all having good laughs, having good conversations, just talking about the show. And I know you were kind of doing some play-by-play for Petty as well, which was awesome.
You know, I hadn't even remembered that, but you're absolutely right. That was when we were sitting there and I was pitching to Scott, hey, I want you to make me a new logo. What do you think? And I think that you should start selling shirts of different YouTubers on your Etsy store. And I was like, what do you think? And Scott was like, yeah. And I was like, well, what else?
Yeah.
What do you mean? Yeah.
Right. So Greg said it, and Scott's like, okay, yeah. And then Sammy's like, yeah, you should. You could do mine. And he's like, okay, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, you could do mine too. And Scott's like, nah. Yeah, I'm for you guys. Not him.
No, I showed Scott a picture of somebody with empty pockets, and I was like, this is what I want. Because it's pretty true. By the end of every show, you know, we go home bankrupt, and then we have to refill our bankroll again.
To everybody watching,
it was funny.
Scott says yes to
Go ahead,
everything.
Sammy. Orlando.
I was just going to say, everybody watching, Scott says yes to everything. He's so nice that you just, hey, let's do this. Oh, sure, let's do it. Let's go.
Absolutely.
He got us the restaurant to go to. I mean, he organized everything for us. He was going to pick me up at the airport even, guys.
Or if Scott doesn't want to say something, he'll whisper to Dawn, and Dawn talks for him. So it's pretty good.
No, but I thought and I think what it was is it was maybe my jealousy of seeing Chris's awesome shirt that he was wearing all of Strongsville. And the cool thing that Scott did at Strongsville was he put behind Chris's logo, behind the caricature of Chris, instead of having Missouri, he had Ohio because we were in Cleveland, and he put on it Mayor of Strongsville. And I was like, that's cool. Like, I want one of those. Like, I want a Chris from Missouri shirt. And then I was just like, well, why don't you make me a logo so I can have one of my shirts? I want to be like Chris.
Light bulb went off.
Yeah.
Like a light bulb went off.
Oh, yeah.
It's
and I wasn't even drinking. You were drinking Yinglings, and I was just hanging out.
Man. That's why I was instigating, because I had enough in me. No, but in all honesty, awesome. I mean, it was a great idea, and you know, it's like we talked about this already at the high table, so I'm not going to go too far into it. But it's beneficial for everybody.
Absolutely,
yeah. And it's fun, and it's a way for us to get to know each other better. Go for it, Theo.
I personally, and I know this is probably an unpopular opinion, I would rather go to Strongsville than the National, since I've been to both. The reason is because you're showing the great hat. The reason why is because we get more time together to hang out, and you can be in the card show and see where everybody's at. You know, some guys who haven't been to the National, you lose everybody so quickly. Mm-hmm. There's bad self service. Even if you get a hold of somebody, it's still hard to find them. I remember Orlando was trying to find us for like a half an hour, and we told him where we were at, and I personally love Strongsville. I will go every time, and something that cool that came out of it is they actually reach out to 4 collectors because of how great all you guys did with the coverage. and they're giving us some free tickets next year for the show.
Nice.
So that was a really cool thing that they did.
The only thing I'll say about the hotel is just make sure you don't stay on the 6th floor, because otherwise you're going to be battling to get up there.
I was
Well,
on the 5th.
and then
Thank God that
don't mail yourself cards there either,
Right.
because when you mail yourself cards there, they disappear.
Yeah.
So
The other
And if
thing,
you've never stayed there before, when you try to turn the hot water on in the shower, have patience, give it like 6 or 7 different tries, and it will work.
Well, somebody, I think it was Petty texted me and Darren the other day a list of all the cards that Memory Lane mailed to themselves at the hotel and the estimated value of all the cards. And I was looking through it and I'm like, literally all the cards that were delivered that went missing are worth more than the whole hotel. Like literally, it's worth more than the hotel is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The 1914 Cracker Jack Maddie is probably worth more than that hotel is.
Yeah. Wow.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's just Mookie. Mookie. My favorite is Mookie typing a comment and then Mookie choosing Mookie's comment. That is everything love wrapped into one right there. I know. I just wish he would come on. You know, if he came on, that would be pretty cool.
That hotel.
Listen, I still have money that he's going to make an appearance. I think you guys talked about it. Yeah, you guys talked about it. I have a feeling he's going to make an appearance.
No,
he's not going to let you down.
It's like the Ernie Banks rookie card. They're just going to keep teasing us and teasing us and teasing us. It's never going to happen.
No,
that's all right. I mean, it's don't eat the chocolates on the pillow, says Brent. Yeah, I think that's good advice. Not eating the chocolates on the pillow at the Best Western. But you know, it was perfect. If it was a nice hotel, if the hotel was any nicer, I don't know. It just made me feel like I was in the college dorms again. You know, I was like, this is like dorms.
You didn't want to be in the room.
No.
It's like the college dorms, but with more rust in the elevators than the dorms work.
Well, the elevators didn't work. Half the elevators didn't even work.
No. Yeah. Yeah, Petty and I got in one of the doors closed and it opened and it started like it started like kind of dropping up and down. So we jumped out of it and we're like, yeah, we'll take the stairs. And then like an hour later, the elevator was out of order.
Yeah, they just throw us a piece of paper on it, and
it was all worth it.
With the sizes don't use. So are all of us going to the National? Is there anybody in here not going to the National?
I'm going.
Everybody is okay.
I'm going with empty pockets. So.
Great.
Yeah, I know. What's up, Theo?
You want us to call you Mr. 5000 now, but I wanted to know what's your dad and what's your family think about your new fame? What do they say about it?
Well, fame. I think that my dad. It's not fame, first of all. I think that my dad's in the chat. We should just have him type the answer. But see, this is my dad has mentioned a couple of things in there. Oh, he said he resisted earlier because he knew the answers to all the questions. That's my dad right there. I don't know. I think my wife is probably a little annoyed at how much time I spend talking to you guys. But I think that she also sees how much joy it brings me. So I'm a person, and just totally honest with you guys, though, I mean, you guys probably know this about me. I don't do well when I have idle time. Like my brain, I can't turn off. So I'm always thinking, always thinking, analyzing. So if I don't have something going on to think about, I get bored really, really fast. And so this has been good for me because even when I'm not doing stuff with the channel or doing stuff with, talking to you guys or texting or whatever, it's like I always have something like, what should my next video be? Or I read a post that somebody said where they called me a meatball or something, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And so it's good for me. And I think my wife sees that. I think she sees that I'm even though I'm busier, I'm happier. Like hanging out with you guys right now and all the people in the chat. Like, this is like fantastic. Like, I'm having a total blast. So I think that she appreciates that. But that is a really good question. Let me turn it around to you. What does your wife think of your fame and reaching the 1,000 sub mark?
Yeah, okay. She thinks I'm a loser. That's what she thinks.
She knows you well, Theo.
Yeah. No, but do your kids have any thoughts about, like, did they ever think that you would get this many subscribers or anything, or they really don't have any interest in even talking about it?
Oh, that's a good. I think that most kids, especially daughters of dad, think of their dads. I think a certain part of them, and this is just me spitballing, I think a certain part of them thinks that their dads are really able to do anything. Like, even though we can't, I think that a lot of daughters look at their dads as like a certain amount of hero status, even when they're being crabby and they're being cranky and they're being rude. Deep down in their heart, they look up to their dads, and their dad is kind of like their hero. So if I say, hey, I'm going to do this, and this is what I think I'm going to try to accomplish, I think my kids are like, well, of course she can do it. That's my dad. Like, if he thinks he can do it, he can do it, Yeah. And in reality, they might be, unfortunately, realize that dad can't do anything. So I don't think that they're surprised, because I think they think that I can do a lot of things, even things I can't do. But they were very supportive early on. Early on, when I got 100 subs, they were like, oh my gosh, you got 100 subs, And then once I got to about 500, they kind of stopped paying attention. Yeah. And like, I went to them the other day, I go, oh, guess what, guys? I got to 5,000. And they're like, 5,000? I thought you were like 1,500, So I think that that's kind of the thought. I've got a really close relationship with both girls, but I don't talk about me a lot with them. I talk mostly about what's going on with them. So I don't think they're super aware. But today I made a typo, which you pointed out kindly to me, Theo, in my post, right? And I posted, reminder, tonight is the live stream. And when I did that, I had a typo in it. And the first person to reach out to me and say you made a typo it showed up on Lucy's Instagram feed. And she goes, Dad, just to let you know, you have a typo. You might want to fix it before too many people see it. And then I was so I'm like trying to fix it. And then Theo's like, hey, Greg, you made a typo. And I'm like, I know, I'm working on it. So yeah.
That's funny.
Greg has 300. Oh, this is interesting. Lucy unsubscribed. Greg has 332 videos. Not that anyone's counting but myself. I would assume his family supports it. Yeah, I mean, I do tend to do it in times that doesn't affect them. Like, I haven't missed a soccer game. I drive Lucy to practice. Like, for a long time when I was doing videos, I was recording myself talking while I was sitting in the car during her practice before she got her driver's license. So it's like, my stuff has to fit into their schedule more than vice versa. So, hey, Sammy, you got a card show this weekend you're doing?
I have one tomorrow. Yeah. Since I got
which one is that?
This one's in Queens, New York City. So it's a smallish show, but since I got some of those SGC cards back, I can put some fresh blood in the display case there. So nice. Looking forward to. I know I told some of you guys already about the gigantic card that I just bought, but which I will unveil when it does arrive on Monday. It's supposed to arrive on Monday, but now I need to offset some of the gigantic purchase, which actually It's actually a blessing in disguise because going to the National, I don't know if you guys experienced this, but going to the National, I feel like when you walk around, you have deep pockets, whatever your budget is, whatever it is, you're looking for something in particular. Your anxiety level goes way through the roof because you really want to try to find whatever it is you're trying to find. Going to the National now after buying this massive card is lowering my anxiety significantly. And now I'm just going to help you guys find whatever you want. I don't know if you guys experience the same thing that I have.
Yeah. But... yeah. We want to go there and you're looking for something, you want to buy something. Hey, Darren had that experience in Strongsville. The first day he wanted to buy something, he just couldn't find something and just couldn't pull the trigger, you know?
Yeah, it was very, it was funny because it wasn't just like, oh, I couldn't find the card. I was like, it put me in a bad mood.
Yeah.
I was cranky.
Yeah. So there was a question in the chat. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Greg.
There was a question in the chat that I thought was interesting that I pulled back up here. What athlete did you think your game was similar to when you competed as a ball player? Now I've heard Sammy Thunder talk about this because Sammy was a pitcher. And that's the only reason I knew Sammy was so tall is because he talked about his nickname Sammy Thunder came from when he was a player. To answer that question, I personally tried to be the hardest working player on the field. I completely gave up my body in diving for things, scrambling for things. Like my drive for I'm so competitive that I can't do certain things because I can't control my competitiveness. So when I was on the court or I was on a field or I was on the diamond, the way I played it was 100%, not 98%, not 99%. It was 100%. It was, even though the dirt was hard pan, I would still dive head first. So I would say, if I had to answer that, I would say Pete Rose. I didn't gamble, but I would say Pete Rose just because that's just like, I mean, my dad could attest, like there were multiple video game systems that may or may not have been severely damaged because of my competitiveness. So that would be the answer to that one. Now with that, what do you, I had one question for Scott. Let me unmute you. Scott, when you were doing a caricature of me, how I'm going to pull this up here real quick. Can you take me through the process of making a caricature of let's show it again. All right, here. There it is. So when you're looking at this caricature, what is the process like? Where do you start? Do you start with the eyes? Do you start right here on me?
I start the whole face shape. Usually the jawline first.
Okay.
And then the top of the head, I kind of like give myself a circle to work within. And then I go into
and when you're starting to pull out features on me, because I look at the other guys in this room right now, like I look at Theo and Sammy, and I'm like, oh man, those guys would be easy to do a caricature of because they all have these characteristics that I see. But then when you see it done of you, you're like, oh, that's how I look. But it does look like me. So do you go? So now that you got my head here, and you've got my head, you've got my jawline. Where do you go to work next? Is it my ears?
Ears are usually last. It would be the nose, the mouth, and the eyes.
Very Warren Spawn.
Because your nose is so Warren Spawn. It was like, I got to get to that first. I got to get that right.
Oh,
very Don Mossy.
No,
maybe that's the reason I love Warren Spawn. What did you say, Sammy?
No, just saying very Don Mossy. It's clearly not, but
Oh yeah, I like Don Mossy.
no, you don't have the Don Mossy
That's
years,
fine.
man.
All right. No, it's all good. Why do you think
So I actually
cover 'em
did
up?
caricatures at a theme park when I was in high school.
Wow,
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
that's awesome.
Really?
Yep, that's how I put myself through college.
Nice.
Oh wow,
That's a fun fact.
Hmm.
it is a fun fact.
Scott,
Yeah.
Scott, did you know when you were young that you wanted to be an artist, that you had some type of talent?
Absolutely. I wanted to be like a cartoonist for the Sunday papers. You know, that was my very first, like, that's the job that I want. That kind of morphed into other things and did the caricatures. And then I was a graphic designer for years. And now I'm a sports ball artist and t-shirt peddler.
I'm just imagining Scott walking down like in some sort of like wood shaped wagon, just with a t-shirt with like bells on the end of it.
Like the ice cream truck?
Yeah. Like oh man, yeah, I can just.
That's great. Scott,
Life goals.
did you do balloon animals too at the theme park?
I did not do balloon animals at the theme park. No,
That's not considered art.
I've tried to do them. They're kind of fun, but not professionally.
Greg,
Man, I got to point out. Go ahead.
I was going to say, since we're talking about you, maybe we should try to do some impersonations of you.
Hey, if you just want to start talking and then never stop talking, that would be the best impersonation. Which, by the way, I do have to throw this out because let me quick sidebar and then come back to that comment. JL is chiming in from Hong Kong. That's the third continent that we've had on tonight. We had Australia, we had Hong Kong, and we've had North America. So that's that. Well, I guess Asia. Not Hong Kong, but Asia. So, very, you know what I meant. So, what was I talking about? What was I saying? I'm old. I was going to say something about Scott. Oh, Scott. So I get long-winded, and I catch a lot of crap for that. But I get it. My students probably hate it. But I get long-winded. So I'm going to start doing a new, like maybe once a month, maybe twice a month video where I'm going to have a guest on and they're going to ask me some shorter questions. And it's going to be a short video. It's going to be like a 10-minute video. And it's going to be called Short-Winded. And my first guest for Short-Winded is actually going to be Scott. So we talked about that earlier this week. So Scott's going to set the tone for how this is going to go. Yeah.
Right. I've always wanted to ask you dumb questions too, so this is going to be great.
Well, and it's funny because when I first did my Q&A, it went pretty long. It went about 20 minutes. And Theo kind of gave me some crap. He was like, dude, that was a long video. And I go, I know. I think I need to make like a timer. Like I'm going to do, because I went so long. Remember this? I know you remember this.
Yeah, I'm laughing because your last Q&A was an hour.
And I'm going to have like
say 20 minutes. Yeah, that was a short one.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. And so I was like, okay, I did a two minute timer, like pardon the interruption, and I got the question, and I was going, and I'll show you in a second, Dad. And I'm going, and then I say, oh my gosh, I didn't have enough time. And the video was like 12 minutes. I'm like, oh, I didn't feel like I answered the question very well. I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do it. So then I just went back to my long-windedness. So just to try to find a compromise, I'm gonna start doing short-winded, which is actually the idea of not me, but a friend of mine. All right, so Dad, you're asking the question about the Reindeer Studio shirts. So I'm going to share the screen again. In case you are late to the party, which is certainly understandable, if you look on the screen right now, if you go into just Google, if you just go to Google, right, and you go to Reindeer Studios, Etsy. This is Scott's Etsy store. Once you go in there, there are going to be a few things that should pop up. I click on this is like his main page, Reindeer Studios store on Etsy. And once you click on that, and it's spinning, got old computer. That's going to bring you to Scott's main page. Now, Scott has a bunch of awesome t-shirts. If you've not bought any of his shirts, this is where you can get any of his shirts. And, you know, this is the Piedmont shirt we were talking about earlier. This is a super popular one. If you go to the left, there are unisex shirts, which are all of them, or you could go to the sports card YouTubers. And if you click on that, that is where it would pop up the hoodies. And there's 3 colors in each of these. So that's how you would do that if you're interested. And again, go to Scott's site and check out his he's got a lot of, it's not two. The Lou Gehrig says, it's loading. The Lou Gehrig says, just don't eat the gum, Big League Chew. He's got some great stuff. So check out his Etsy store if you've never been to it, and support Scott. He's an awesome guy. So I mean, he's putting up with us, right?
Right.
I appreciate your support.
I love when Darren has Greg on and the time of possession. You got it, Scott. I love this, Steve. Steve says, well, I do. In my defense, I have to say, after the debate with Mangini and Blue Jacket, I'm just trying to make up time of possession there. Yeah, Dylan has a couple of 2-hour videos, if I'm not mistaken. Double D.
Hey, guys. I'm here. Long videos, guys. Always. 40 minutes plus. I love you, Dylan.
God. Sammy, you got to tell the joke about Strongsville, because, you know, we were talking, Theo was mentioning that at the National, you can't find the other YouTubers, you know, especially Dylan. You know, Dylan got lost in the crowd. So we were saying at least in Strongsville, we could find Dylan. So Sammy was going to make a "Where's Dylan?" like a "Where's Waldo?"
we should have him dress in Where's Waldo's clothes and have to find him. That'd be hilarious.
I looked for him forever at the National, man. He's so hard to find because, you know, he hides in the crowd. You gotta, you know.
You have to hire the tallest people. Myself, Don, Al. You know, I mean, those guys. I think like Don is like 6'7", Al's like 6'6". So we got to be on Dylan control.
Yeah. Sammy, do you see?
I think he was next to Jake, if I'm not mistaken, from Legends Never Die. Is that who he's hiding with? We've got just as a. You put him in your pocket. We're at 71 people right now. We peaked in the 80s earlier, which is awesome. So again, all of you out there, if you want to fire any questions in, I think we're planning on going about an hour and a half. So we got about 15 more minutes if anybody wants to throw anything out there. I do think. Oh, heavens!
I knew it.
Oh my goodness! Now this is. I feel like we should isolate the screen. We gotta isolate the screen. Hold on. There it is. Oh, this is a absolutely legendary moment.
Hello,
goodness, look at that.
Congratulations on 5,000, Mr. 5,000. I'm thrilled to be a part of it. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I gotta throw this out there. This is the quote of the night. Mother effing Mookie. That is outstanding. Now I gotta kind of give you I gotta talk about Mookie now for a second. So I talked about everybody else. Haven't talked about Mookie. So
well, no, I have a whole sheet of. I'm gonna roast you here. I have a whole sheet of things I'm gonna say about you. But go on.
Okay, well, first let me go then. So this is a true story. So Mookie, before I did my first live stream, I had no idea what I was doing. None. I was giving away a Mickey Mantle card, and I did a giveaway for the channel. And I had no idea what I was doing. I was completely clueless. And I get a message on Instagram, direct message on Instagram, and it's from Mookie. And he says, hey, if you want to brainstorm any ideas or anything before the live stream, I know you're going to do great, but I'd be happy to help you brainstorm any ideas or anything. And he gives me his number, which I think he might look back and go, oh my gosh, why did I do that? Because since that moment, and that was a while ago, I have absolutely overwhelmed his text message inbox with texts. But you reaching out and doing that, Mookie, honestly, that was like, I mean, that was like the genesis of a friendship that is very important to me. I value your friendship so much. I text you daily. I talk to you all the time. You're
Mr. 5,000 text. Yes.
Mookie is, if you think I'm a long-winded talker, just wait until I have your number and I start texting you. So Mookie is a great guy, but you are really the reason that I have added this really important friend in my life is when you reached out to me from that moment. Seriously. And I'm so glad you did.
Well, I was happy to do it. You were in distress. I felt like there was stress coming off you. I'm like, I should jump in and see if he needs anything. But it's been, between, meeting Sammy at the card show where I met him and all these guys I've had a bunch of different interactions with. It's been amazing to participate in all this. I'm thrilled to be here. I'm thrilled to be on the text thread with all of you today and going forward. So thank you.
I will say, as a Mookie advocate in person, so when I bought that Seaver Venezuelan, I didn't want to pay an extra $25 for it, but I did. And then Mookie, being the generous comrade that he is, says, I'll go over to your table and I'll buy $30 worth of cards to offset your $25. And he did. To his credit,
I wanted to see the action. I was ready to see the action.
I know you were there for me, man. I appreciate that.
Well, always be producing. I was producing that night's Sammy Thunder episode. That's what that was. Like, come on, Sam, we're getting a story together.
Absolutely. It was just like it was a Cinderella story. So
oh my gosh, I'm so
I love you.
And I are the two guys left that are the hand models in our video.
Who's the other one?
Me and you, Mookie.
You
the only
two.
hand models. We don't show our faces still in our videos. But I'm glad to see you live.
Yeah,
you need to do more live streams.
Shoebox Legends. Shoebox Legends.
And
Mook, show your shirt. Show your shirt to all the potential Reindeer Studio purchasers. That is from Reindeer Studios as well.
Beautiful. The color is black. It comes in 3 different colors. Am I right, Scott?
You are correct.
Yeah.
I designed that shirt I want to say 20 years ago.
I love it. I love it.
Where the hell is Pete, man? Pete said he would appear on a live stream if you did. Where the hell is he?
Pete is in his new home. He just moved into a new house. And he's watching right now. So hello to
He's too
Pete.
busy.
Yeah. Well.
So that Scott, that comment right there, that guy's been really good friends since I was 5 years old. So he thanks you for making my ugly face look decent. So
my pleasure.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I feel like it's the end of the Scooby-Doo episode. The mask was ripped off and everybody's now happy together and Mookie is here.
And my line is, I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you meddling kids.
Blame it on Sammy.
Yeah. What? Why me?
Sammy's been wanting to see you on your face for a while.
Listen, this was premeditated. This is all going to happen. We all knew this was going to happen. I mean, Mookie would not let Greg down. I knew this was going to happen.
Perfect timing.
Sammy called it.
Now, Mookie, were you planning all along, or was this a spur of the moment decision?
Game time call. It was a game time call. I wanted to make sure that all of you were, having a good time and rolling along before I jumped in.
You pulled an Edwin Diaz with the trumpets.
That's right. Sound the trumpets, right, Theo? You remember when Edwin Diaz came in and closed out those Pirates games?
Oh.
Chris from Missouri's here.
Hello and welcome. This is Chris from Missouri. And I wanted to come on here to congratulate Craig. Craig, Mid-Age Cardboard is one of the best YouTube shows. Can I show one card real quick, Craig?
Sure.
This is my Mickey Mantle card, okay? Yes, the tape on there. I talk about the tape, but we don't have time tonight, guys. But Craig, you have a great show. I'm just so proud of you. I didn't believe in you, but Theo told me about you, and I believe in you now.
Well, thank you, Chris. I appreciate that very much, and it was really nice of you to stop in and join the party tonight.
Okay, collect what you love, people.
Is there anything? Sounds good. Is there any message, Chris, that you'd like us to share with Theo? Because he stepped out just a minute ago. Is there anything you'd like us to tell him for you?
Yeah, tell that young whippersnapper. He's actually a nice guy. He's a nice kid. Okay, and we need to take care of kids in the hobby, people. Let them win trades. Okay, that's how we take care of kids in this hobby. Okay.
Sounds good.
Theo's back down to $9.99 after that.
honey, I need the YouTube turned off.
Now there was Mookie. I love your answer to this. So I want you to, you don't have a lot of screen time, so I want to give a little Mookie time right now. James is asking Mookie, how and why did you start collecting pinhole cards? And I love your answer. Please share.
Well, I'm a frugal person by nature, and I started getting into vintage cards, and they're all expensive. And I thought, how do I get a nice low end foothold into the vintage cards that I really wanted? And a 54 Willie Mays, Topps Willie Mays came around, and it just was beautiful. It was dented up and dinged and folded almost, and it had a bunch of pinholes in the top of it. And I thought, well, that would be really cool to get and to have. And it was under $100, and I got it. And I thought the only way to present this card is to have it on a piece of corkboard, like the kid who once had it up in their room in 1954 had it. And that just sort of started me on a trajectory of finding more of those, clearing the shelters, as I like to say, of all the cards that were loved and lost. And it's been a super fun, amazing time collecting them. That's the pin. I don't know if you can see it. That's the Pinhole Holy Grail Wall of Fame over there. I just rearranged it. We just here at the Mookie Chilson World headquarters, we had a reorganization night the other night where I took out the Graphco map tacks and did a little suturing and surgery. So
is that in your family's living room?
Huh? No. This is my office. This is the world headquarters there. You think I got Mookie Chilson World headquarters in the rumpus room? Come on.
Do you have a Mookie Wilson pinhole card?
No, I don't.
We can make that happen, man.
I can get one for you.
No. Thou shalt not create. No. Huh?
You bought like 5 of them from me. Let's make one of them a pinhole.
No, you can't do it. You can't do it. Thou shalt not create new pinholes. This is part of the problem of in the beginning of my pinhole journey, I would go up to tables and ask dealers, "You don't have any pinhole cards?" And they're like, "No, why?" And then they'd offer to do what you're saying. Like, that's against the spirit of the project.
That's your new slogan. Thou shalt not do pinhole.
Thou shalt not create new pinholes. Yes. Yeah.
That's a new T-shirt there,
Oh,
Scott.
that's
New T-shirt.
yeah. Oh
Theo
yeah,
has
a
some
T-shirt of
pinhole
like a pinhole card T-shirt would be fantastic. I mean, we should
There you
just
go.
start spitballing different ideas for
There it is.
T-shirts.
There
That
you
could be
go.
fun.
Hey, Mookie, is that Reggie Jackson in there?
Oh,
Yeah, I can get. Nobody get that.
No, I'm just curious. You don't have to fetch it. I'm just curious.
Oh, he's fetching it.
Okay.
There it is. The famous board.
There it comes, man.
Do a
There it
close-up,
is.
Greg, do a close-up of that.
There's Reggie.
okay. Let's
The
do
Milton
this.
brother.
Whoa.
Wow, look at that, man.
Wow.
There's the Willie Mays.
Look at all those Seavers.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I was noticing. The transogram.
Whoa.
That's the Seaver wing of the Pinhole Holy Grail Wall of Fame.
How many times did you make the board bigger now? 3 times or twice?
This is the third expansion of the here. It's a growth industry here at World Headquarters. Board. Anyway,
Sounds like Viagra.
Yeah. All right, get my big face off the screen, will you?
Okay.
For the record, is this gonna be a one-time appearance, Mookie, or are you gonna be doing like your face is gonna be in videos going forward for your channel?
I have to. I don't. Who likes looking at my face? My hands are just fine, and the cards are no.
I'd like to see a.
You asked the question.
Series.
The reason why I asked
Pete.
is, I think we should do a collaboration going forward, man.
To the show, yeah.
I've been waiting for this moment to happen, so I'll be like, hey, Mookie, let's do a collaboration now.
Yeah, let's boycott his channel till he shows his face.
Unsubscribe.
Getting tough on me now. We'll see.
I think
This is going really well, so maybe I'll do more.
Oh, look at this. We got all sorts of hands going up in the chat now, too, for who likes Mookie's face. Look at this. We got another one.
The chat, the numbers have dropped since I come on. I got to read some of my roasts.
No, they haven't.
Yeah, we need to hear the roast.
Do you actually have some material?
Yeah.
To me, Greg, your channel is kind of like crypto. I don't understand it, but I really admire it. I think it's safe to say that Greg is a content creating genius. It's not particularly true, but it's safe to say that. How about this? Hold on. You ready?
Yeah.
There are very few people in this community that I truly and completely admire. Greg, Sammy, Scott, Darren, Orlando. That's it.
That's my favorite joke so far.
You know, it's funny. Recently, I asked Greg what he would be doing if he weren't a supremely talented sports card YouTuber. And he said, probably what Theo's doing.
I think you got your point. Anything related to me as a punchline, I think those are the best jokes.
I knew you could take it, Theo. I knew you could take it. All right, that's enough.
No. I need the rest of it. You gotta.
No. This is all cutting room stuff, of course.
I can try to do my impression of you, Greg.
Tonight, I'll finish. I'm going to go off with this one. You ready?
Go ahead.
Tonight is one of those magical moments when we all gather to celebrate one of the great achievements in our field by sitting in front of our laptops for 90 minutes to chat with older men.
Bravo.
Oh, this is fantastic. I mean,
mean,
I gotta say, Petty was shot out of a cannon when he unveiled himself. But Mookie, you're right there, dude. This is just
man.
epic stuff.
Well, it's kind of great. It's kind of like it's a full circle moment because Mookie did the video for the Four Collectors channel to build up Petty.
That's it. Wow.
Yeah.
Theo did that video. That was Theo's.
Theo did
I thought you edited. I thought you put the footage together. Was it Theo?
No, it was Theo.
Oh,
Theo.
Theo.
No credit. Come on. Theo did it.
No,
My bad, man.
me and Mookie worked together. He
okay.
he came up with some of the script, and he came up with some of the clips we used.
Oh,
We
I
worked
didn't know
together. He's giving himself no credit here. He did do a lot.
All right.
Yeah.
Nevertheless,
That was the best.
They are
Pete.
absolutely.
Pete's in the
Pete's
chat.
that's him.
The
Look at
chat is absolutely loving you, Mook.
Yeah.
Did Pete change his YouTube name? It looks like he's going to start creating content now.
Who, Pete?
Yeah, it says Pete's Guitars and Vintage Baseball Cards. I don't think that was his YouTube name prior. So I think that
I'm trying to get him to put some material out there before the Nationals so that he's got a little toe in the water, but we'll see.
Sammy said you bully Pete. Is that true, Mookie? You don't seem like the type.
Oh, man.
We're like brothers. We're like brothers.
Pete, come on, let's go. Let's go. Pete, come on. Hurry up.
I was putting on a little show. I put on a little show for Sammy.
The man was in the urinal taking a piss with a line, and you're like, Pete, come on, hurry up, let's go.
Oh, Pete loves it.
Wait.
Pete loves it.
Pete, ready for this, Mook? It's coming. Pete is saying.
There
I
you
mean, it's happening.
That's official. There you go.
We're looking forward to it, Pete. We'll all throw our support behind you.
At first, I thought Pete was gonna
man.
snap. Within the first 5 minutes of hanging out with Mookie and Pete, Mookie was was drilling him.
You're all right.
Sorry, man.
It's all right. Dylan's not here.
Honestly, that's again that trip with Sammy down to Philadelphia, and every time we see Sammy in Garfield or wherever it is like a microcosm of what you guys all experienced in Strongsville, and hopefully what happens at the National. You know, I can't wait to go out there and see all of you guys and have great times and good laughs and find lots of pinhole cards with you guys.
Make sure you sit at Mike Petty's table though, whenever you go out to eat.
For sure, you have to do that.
All right, Theo. If you wanna give your midlife impression, stage is set. It's yours.
All right. Well, I'll try my best here. If somebody else has one after me, please.
Sammy's got
one. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. You go after me.
Yeah. Go ahead.
All right, midlifers. I really think Roger Clemens should be in the Hall of Fame. But what do you think? Am I crazy? Is he a Hall of Famer? Comment down below if you think he's a Hall of Famer. But maybe I'm crazy. Maybe he's not a Hall of Famer. Comment down below.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good.
No, the best is when
that's pretty good.
When he argues with himself. And now some of you are out there saying, I hear some of you guys are out there. Now he just, I think he fell on that needle. I can't go into the Clemens stuff because Greg and I have declared a truce.
We have a truce. We have a truce.
Yeah.
Sammy, go for it.
All right, I haven't workshopped this enough, so I'm gonna just try to get into the mode here. Hey, midlifers. Now, we're gonna step into a little bit talking about the different vintage cards that might be going up, but also could be going down. We're gonna look at a different presentation of just all the different cards that are out there that you can look into and potentially find gold. I've gone to enough card shows where I'm looking at all the display cases and just looking really and focusing. I saw a 1970 Clemente rated a 5, and I was able to work out a great deal. And I was able to get it in my possession after the show to showcase it with you guys here. All right, that's all I have. It's not woke up. I don't have the inflection.
Pete is asking for some more impressions. So far we've heard Chris, right? We've heard Mangini, we've heard a couple of me. You're getting a standing ovation from Steve here.
It needs more work.
Okay, all right. We are 94 minutes in, and 68 of you have stuck around with us, which is fantastic. So I am thinking, the fact that Mookie came on, they're asking Sammy to do Scott now.
Scott is easy.
Hey, superstars. It's your best friend, Scott. And I'm here to do a VR for a bunch of you guys for tonight. So we're going to jump from this one to this one.
I can't do Scott very well. Scott doesn't even work off a script. He just literally goes from point A to point Z in a matter of like 8 minutes. And it's incredible.
Oh, that is fantastic.
Actually, everything I do is very scripted.
I think when Scott did his video for Iconic Al's Cy Young video, where he starts where he's eating the popcorn and he goes into the whole thing, like, honestly, I'm like, dude, this guy is like a closet actor. Like, it was fantastic.
Yeah,
it was fantastic.
It was really
and you pulled that clip and it's on your channel. If you've not seen that, go to Scott's channel, Ranger Studios, and check out that clip. It's so good. So good.
That was next level. One of the best things I've seen in a long time. And all of you, a bunch of you guys did Iconic Al inserts, right? Yeah. Orlando, you did yours, right?
Right. Yeah, I did the Babe Ruth.
Yep. And Theo, did you get to do the Clemente one?
I don't think so.
Oh no, I guess you didn't do it.
No, he didn't want to mess that one up.
Anyway,
Theo does catch a lot of crap. He's a good sport about it.
Theo gives it out too. Theo knows how to throw a punch too.
Yeah, that's why people love to.
Theo and John. So Theo and John, 3D80s kid. They're like Ringo and McCartney, and then Caesar and I. Like, Caesar is George, and I'm definitely Ringo.
You got two Ringos.
It's like, I have an idea. It's like, oh yeah, great, yeah, well, that's a good idea there, Sammy. We're gonna put that on the maybe one.
We'll go back to that one.
It's like when I have a student, when I ask a question to my class, and I'm like, so what would be an example of a utility bill, guys? And somebody raises their hand and they go, oh, is that like when you buy food? And I'm like, well, sort of. Does anybody else have one? Completely.
Moving on.
That's hilarious. This John Keating, we got a Keating sighting, and people are already asking about him. Really come out for these chats or something.
John Keating was at Strongsville. Man. There he is.
Yeah. That's the first time I ever saw him. He was behind me, and I think I went up and pushed him. I didn't even say hello. I just went up and pushed him as a joke, and that was how I said hello.
Yeah. I wanted to spend more time with him, but Petty just hogged him up. Petty was talking to him forever.
Well, Keating showed up the night of the first day. What's up, Sammy?
No, I was going to ask. There was a story you mentioned about Petty where he bought like this really expensive card from one table, and then there was like the same card at a different table that cost less, and his response to that was like, "Damn it," or something like that.
No, that was Darren. That was Darren, wasn't it?
It was.
No, I thought it was Petty. Like, Petty bought a card, and there was something about, like, he bought a card from one table and he paid more. And he went to, there was another table that had the same card and it cost a little bit less or something like that. And you guys brought it up to him, and his response just was like,
yeah. I think it was he bought a Yangling card that had ice cream stains on it, and then we found the same card in the same grade without ice cream stains on it. And I think that's what got him worked up because he bought two ice cream cards at the show, and both of them were like, they had pretty good staining on it, and everyone's like, it's okay, it's normal, they're supposed to have stains. And then after he bought them, people were showing him their Yingling cards that were like completely clean, and he was getting worked up.
That's
so
what
it wasn't. So it wasn't a matter of price;
Yeah.
it was just a matter of condition.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. The question from Pete, as Pete is starting to work on his channel here. Pete asks, he's calling me Craig. Hold on, I'm going to need to show him not Craig hat here real quick, and make sure he gets this down. No, I personally, the way I do it, I know everybody has their own style. I personally do not do take. I go. I don't script anything ever. I occasionally will write down a couple of names if I'm afraid I'm going to forget the name, so I can look at the name, but I almost never look. One take. I saw Orlando the other day talking, and he was going, "Hey guys, I do one take. Like, it is what it is. I do one take.
It is.
I hit play. The only thing I do is I edit out the beginning and end because I don't want you guys to have to see me hitting play on my thing and then hitting stop. So I edit out the first 2 seconds and the last 2 seconds. Everything else, I don't edit anything in the middle of my response. So if I'm just going and then I say something dumb, it stays. I don't edit anything out of it. It's all one long flat take is how I personally do it. And the reason I do that is because I just want it to be like when I gave speeches growing up, like in classes, if I had a script, if I had note cards, it was harder. If I just had some main points in my head and then I just spoke, it was way, way easier. So that's just how I do it. Otherwise, I'm thinking about what I'm supposed to do instead of just talking. So I do one take is how I do it. One long take. It is one long take. You're right. You're right.
Greg, I think everybody's wondering, are you ever going to run out of Q&A questions?
I hope not, because I had about 12 submitted this last week, and I only answer 5 a week, so I got at least 7 in the hopper.
When you started doing this, I'm like, he's gonna last 3 months. He's gonna run out of things to talk about. You just keep going and going. It's crazy.
I mean, I'll talk about anything, and that's the other thing about me is I'm not I've said this before. I'm not. I mean, I'm kind of an open book. You guys can ask me whatever you want, and there's only a couple things I might not tell you, but I'll tell you probably more than you want to know. I mean, that was one of the things in Strongsville too, is I was asking some people questions, and in fact, this happened the other day on your channel, Sammy. Is I was like, "Hey, Sammy, tell us about your tattoos," and you're like, maybe another time. And I was like, I get that, but that's just not. I'm if anything, I tell you more than you want to know, not less. Waiting for Theo's voice to change.
He got me there.
It's gonna change to this. Everybody's gonna be doing the Mangini once in a at some point. At some point. Listen, when I walk around my room, I just admire everything that just sparkles. I got cards that pre-war, post-war, got even some junk wax. You guys don't even notice. I have some modern too, but I don't show it, but I do. So I just want to let y'all know that if you guys are thinking about trying to come up with a card that I don't have, I have it.
Darren, I haven't heard much from you tonight, Darren. I don't know if I know the answer to this. How did you start your channel? What made you go, you know what, I'm going to do this?
My wife actually told me to.
Really? Does she regret it?
Yes. No, I started watching some videos, and I told her, I said, yeah, I was watching a few of the countdown videos that people do at the end of the year of hey, here are the top cards in my collection. And I was like, these are really cool videos. And she's like, you have some cool stuff. Why don't you do one? And I was like, okay. So that was my first video. And yeah, I think, she thought it was pretty cool for the first 3 or 4 videos I did, and realized that this isn't going to stop. So I think she regrets it a little bit. But yeah, no, I did it because my wife told me to.
I did. So I watched Aaron's early videos, and his cards, he would put them all the way, like it was like a mile away. And he has gorgeous cards, and I would comment, I'd be like, great card, but I can't see it. Like, could you move up your like card or something? And he's like, my wife said the same thing. It was kind of funny. But did you guys match on purpose tonight? You and you.
Oh,
Greg and
I I wished we planned like that, but no. That is a good point on the screen there. You can always tell her you wanted this.
That's true.
That's awesome. All right. Well, we've been going for an hour and 45 minutes. Do we? I love that people are still calling me Greg. This is fantastic. That is hilarious. Didn't notice that Greg and Darren matched. Anybody have any parting words? Anything we want to say or get off our chest or admit before we cut this off? I know that Sammy's waking up early tomorrow for his card show, so
yeah, I'll show up.
I'm waking up in 5 hours to go catch my flight.
Oh wow!
Greg,
well, I went a whole day without sleeping before. Go ahead, Sam.
Thank you so much for your videos, and thank you so much for your channel, creating your channel. And one of the things I wanted to do in my channel is kind of teach people things and all that stuff. And you've done it. Since you're a teacher, people will listen to you, and even if you talk for half an hour, it's a must watch. It really is, guys. And it's one of those things that that's why you've been so successful, because you're just a regular guy, teaching us what's going on in the hobby. And just really enjoy that. And your answers to your questions, the subscriber questions are just right on most of the time.
Yeah.
So just thank you for doing this. You've been really, I think, an inspiration to a lot of people. And a lot of, Mookie's come on board after you. A lot of people are coming on board. And I think that eventually we can get, Petty to come on and Pete to come on. And just thank you so much. What you've done is great for everybody. We have a very small community, and you're kind of one of the leaders in our community there.
Yeah.
Well, Orlando, I didn't say this earlier. I was going to say this during the intro, and here I go starting my essay. So, but I'll keep this as short as I possibly can. Very early in my channel, I started getting you commenting on like every video. And I was like, who is this guy? Like, I don't know who this guy is, a collector's dream. And so I went to your channel and I looked, and you were doing a card show video. And you were going from case to case, and you were talking about what was in the case and all the cool cards and stuff. And you just continued to just be kind to me and support me when like I had very, very few subscribers, nobody knew who I was. And you had a channel that was a good channel and a recognizable channel. And you were like supporting me from very early. And when I see a new channel start up and you say, hey, welcome this person to the community, sub to them and stuff, I'm like, he did that for me too. Like, and that's one of the things about Sammy and Theo too, is very early on, like people were very accepting of me. And I know I have quirks, and I know I'm long-winded, and I know I have twitchy eyes, and I know I'm a meatball, but the fact that people have accepted that about me and supported me is really cool. And you were one of my early supporters. So I appreciate that, Orlando.
Thank you.
Yeah. I want a second when Orlando said I didn't really get to congratulate you. I was just cutting up on you the whole time. But Greg, like you're one of my true friends in this hobby, man. I really appreciate the friendship the most. But we met and we never talked to each other before, and we did that live stream together, and you really didn't connect with anybody in the creator side of things. You were just on the side of, watchers. And now that you've been able to connect with all of us creators also, but I think you kind of branch it. I think some of us creators get so caught up in the other creators, and you make it inclusive for even the people who watch by making your videos where you let them have an opinion and you share that opinion. So I think that's really cool, and I think we probably need to do that a little bit more. So great stuff, man.
Well, I appreciate that. And, you said something to me fairly early on, and it literally changed the trajectory of my channel. You said, and I love that Andrew said, we've reached the emotional part of the live stream. But I'm being dead serious. Like you said, I said, I like that you and John like doing collaborations, and you guys should have like a separate collaboration channel because you guys are good at it. And you said, yeah, you're kind of like a lone wolf. You kind of, that was the term you used. You go, you're kind of a lone wolf. You kind of do your own thing. And I've always been that way. I've always kind of just done my thing and not been a part of the group. And that comment was true. And it challenged me to not be that way. And from that point forward, I started doing it. At the end of last year, I said, one of the things I want to do in 2024 is more collaborations. I want to do more of this, not necessarily live, but have people on. And I've had a lot of people on, Ray from Philly. I'm going to not make a list because then I'm going to leave someone out and I'm going to feel like a jerk. So I'm not going to go there. But I started doing more collaborations, and I'm so glad that I did that. Because what it did is it made me connected, better friends with all these people. And you challenged me to do that with that comment. And it's what made me start doing more of this. And I feel like I've made a lot of friends as a result. So I appreciate that.
Awesome, man. I can't wait till 10,000, man.
I know. So we'll do this video in like 8 months when you hit the end of the year. It's a December video for 10,000.
No, not the vintage YouTube community is like, I don't know. Is there 10,000 people? I mean, it's
small.
There's a few.
It's small. Yeah. It's not having Mookie in the chat to bust chops.
See, this is the thing. I feel like I'm crossing the streams, Ghostbusters style here. Like this, I should be in there with the people. Life happens in the comment section. That's what I think.
I love it. The chat is where it's at.
Yeah. Well, can I just say, just to put a capper on what all these guys are saying, and it is the same. It is true of everybody that's on this screen. Even going back to Scott Reindeer Studios here, who's got his 1,500 subscriber VR going on right now, and it's been on for 5 years. And the ethos that Scott embodies on his channel is generosity, inclusivity, and fun and awesomeness. And that's true of everybody that's on the screen. And it is a common, it's the thing that I look for in following channels and interacting with people. And all of you embody that. Like I said, Scott, to all of you. And Greg, particularly, again, you know how I feel. Just an awesome community, built something to be incredibly proud of, and I know you are. And I'm glad that you collaborated with Scott on sweatshirts, so I can have both of your work on my chest.
And Mook, you know how much you mean to me. I've told you a million times, and I'll keep telling you. But I will also say that the fact that you came on tonight, like honestly, that was like the icing on the cake. Like, this was fun. And having these guys on is fantastic. And we did our thing, and we had, we kind of checked all the boxes I was hoping to check. And then, boom, Mookie came on. That was fantastic. So I'm honored. Truly.
Happy to be
Greg, congratulations on 5,000. Like, I'm super happy for the friendship that we built, and I'm super happy for you to hit that goal. I know you talked on a video earlier about how, your goal when you first started, kind of the dream goal was 5,000. So, you hit that less than a year and a half about. So that's really impressive. And like I said, it's just been awesome, building our friendship, and it was great hanging out with you. It's great hanging out with you in Colorado Springs a couple weeks ago. It was sweet.
Yeah. I mean, it's when we first connected, it was not I think I reached out to you, if I'm not mistaken. I think I got your info from Theo, and Theo gave me your information. I reached out to you and I was like, I want to have you on. And it was one of those things where it was just like, I just felt like as soon as we did a collaboration, I was like, this just like clicked. It just like, there's a great rapport. And I honestly think my favorite video every month is when we do our collaboration together. I don't know if anybody likes it, but I like it.
It's my favorite
so
too.
We're gonna keep doing it, because even if no one listens, I'm gonna do it.
I'm with you. I mean, after we did our last one, I lost 9 subscribers, so people really don't like it. But I do.
Maybe was it Greg's acting, pretending that Roger Clemens was the countdown? Was that?
Oh, Mookie, truce, we truced.
Oh no, yeah. Was it?
You mean at the beginning?
Somebody asked about editing. When I was doing my close for that video, literally I started cracking up so bad. Like it took me like 10 takes to be able to finish it with a straight face.
Yeah, it's funny too, Darren. When I got to Strongsville, it's because I'm kind of I know this is going to sound insane, but I'm wired as a shy person, and I know that sounds crazy, but I am, and I'm always uncomfortable around people, even people that I know well. But for whatever reason, when we were in Strongsville, and I was like, "Oh, cool, there's Darren," and it was like the guy felt like I felt like I'd known you for so long. It was just like we just hit the ground running, like, and it was just like Megan was like, "Hey, how's it going?" And I was just like, "Cool." She's like, "Who are you hanging out with?" And I'm like, "I've been hanging out with everyone. I've been hanging out with everyone," and which was awesome. But when she was asking me and asking like, well, who'd you do this? Who'd you do that with? I go, I don't know. It feels like I feel like I've known Darren forever. I don't know why, but I just feel like I've known him forever. So anyway,
we ate every meal together from when you got there to when you left, right?
I had one without you. I had breakfast the night you went out to breakfast with Petty. First day, and I went out with another friend. Yeah.
I had to take him to breakfast. He bought dinner the night before. He kept trying to pay for everything else. I had to buy him one meal while I was there,
Greg, I just want to mention one thing, but in particular about your channel, is that one thing I've always appreciated is the engagement that you have with everybody in the community, because sometimes there are some channels that grow at exponential rates and they kind of just naturally things progress in a different direction, but you've always maintained you've maintained your footing with everybody in the community, whether they have 100 subscribers or if they have thousands of subscribers. And I've always appreciated that about you in terms of your just being humble and really connecting with everybody, no matter who they are. So I just wanted to make mention of that's something that I've always appreciated about your collaborations in your channel, is the capability of connecting with everybody from who's still growing and who's really reached great heights. So just wanted to mention that.
That means a lot coming from you, Sammy, because honestly, I kind of learned that from you. Like, you had me on before anybody knew who I was, and I did your VR before I even knew what a VR meant. I mean, it was like 6 months later, and I didn't even know what a VR meant. And I texted Theo. I go, "What's a VR?" He's all video response. I was like, how am I supposed to know that? And then I'm like, wait, I think I did that for Sammy. I did that on Sammy's channel. So genuinely, a lot of that wasn't because it was my idea. I've seen it modeled, and you're one of the people that I've seen model that. And I'm like, that's something I want to be like. I want to be a channel that does that. I don't want to be a channel that goes into his own corner and ignores people. I want to be a part of it. And your channel did that for me when I was nothing. So I appreciate that, Sammy.
Yeah, man.
Truly. Well, oh wait, what do we got from Dylan? You don't, Greg, you don't care about how big the other person's channel is. Oh, gotcha. And Dylan, and that's the thing too about this chat is there are so many guys in this chat, and part of me, I'll tell this quick story and then we'll cut it out because we're almost at two hours. My I was at a big family event one time, and a family member of mine got up in front of everybody, and they started thanking people that attended the event. And the family member obviously couldn't list every name. And because they couldn't list every name, for years and years and years and years and years, that person kind of felt bad about the people that they didn't mention. And one of my biggest struggles with doing this tonight is, you know, I've got 6 guys on the screen with me, and I asked 6 of you guys to be included. And the last thing that I ever wanted to happen was anybody say, "Oh, he didn't invite me. I wonder why I wasn't invited." Like that was out of everything from tonight that I was the most uncomfortable with. It was the fact that anybody might feel like I didn't value them as much as anyone else. And that's the reason the people that I brought on, you guys that I brought on for a very specific thing that other people couldn't fill that. Other people couldn't be the first collaboration or the first interview or the first co-collaborator or the first hobby paloozas or the first content creator who made a cartoon of me, you know? And so you guys represent something that's a box that nobody else, that's a peg that nobody else could fit into. And that is important to me, and you're all important to me. But a lot of these other people, and again, I don't want to start getting into names, but those of you that are my friend and I've met and I've been on with and you've had me on, you guys know who you are. And just because you're not on the screen with me tonight, the fact that you showed up in the chat and you're still a participant and you're still a member of, you know, my YouTube family, like I hope that people all know that, because that it's important to me that I have other people that are very important to me who are not on the screen right now. So I'll leave it at that. Well, I appreciate you guys coming on. It's been a crazy 18 months. I've made some friends that I believe I'll be friends with until I am no more. I believe that several of those people are on the screen at the moment. I thank you all for coming on with me. I thank you all for your kind words. I thank you all for you know, teasing me and having fun. I had a blast. This was literally perfect. This went exactly how I had hoped. So I thank you all for that. And everybody that joined us in the chat, it means a lot that you came out tonight. The fact that we still have 70 people here means a lot to me. Everybody on this channel matters, whether you're a commenter, just a watcher, you're a co-creator. Everybody is a part of this, and I look forward to that continuing well into the future. So thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.